What's up, you amateurs? Welcome to the third episode of Europa Lookout, the show that dives deep into the HCS European scene. In today's episode, we'll be talking about the first HCS Open Series, so let's get started. Let's talk about roster mania. So, as I told you guys in the last episode, Awobabobs made a change, dropping Respectful in change of Sayer, which was previously in Red Wolves. This change caused some turmoil in the scene, causing Mista to shelve the controllers for the time being. This was his reaction. In addition, Awobabobs played with Milzy instead of Flux. Now, I'm not sure if this is roster change or Flux wasn't able to play this weekend. Let me know in the comments. But if Flux got dropped, that is insane. Furthermore, yes, I'm using a fancy word, this change also made Haulers and Riots retire? These guys were left without a team, but they didn't make any public announcement just yet. I'm sure we'll be seeing them in the future. These guys were playing under the team Jump Out alongside the duo Lunny and Kimbo, which combined forces with Respectful, drops from Awobabobs, and Clonely from the imploded Red Wolves. If you are confused, let's take a look from the table from Mr. Teen Comprets, and this is our current top 8 contenders. First, we got Quadrant, Legend, Sika, Chick, and SLG. Second, we have Navi, Jimbo, Snipe Drone, Z-Mighties, and Snaky. Third, Dopamine, the new roster with Respectful from Awobabobs, Clonely from Red Wolves, Lunny, and Kimbo from Jump Out. The fourth, we have Awobabobs, Sayer, aka Luminizer, previously from Red Wolves, Mose, Milzy, previously from Red Wolves, and Glory GG. Again, I'm not sure if Flux has been dropped or not. In top 6, we have Leftovers, Master Boas, Kayeb, Hybrid, and Za. None of these guys played in the qualifiers and now are back. Great to see them. J-Links, Morga, Septic, Burton, and Quadios. And for top 8, we have Catsmile Gaming, Dan aka Marine, Outcast, Subatomic, and Warlord. And finally, we have BH3 or W Key, New Brainiac, Sunrise, Bastos, and Yumi. To conclude the top 8, the only roster change was Dopamine and Awobabobs, causing Mista, Haulers, and Riots to hang the controllers for the time being. And maybe Flux, I'm not sure. Now looking at the more amateur side of teams, we have a new roster, Excel Team, previously Redemption Gang. They are Evolution, Marcus, Eastwood, and Crucial. They end up dropping Excuse My Host. Excuse My Host is now playing with Hustful, Jaw, and Wafs under team Lizard123, which is the duo from Fish123, Hustful and Jaw, paired with Excuse My Host and Wafs. Fish123 blew up and Snailed It and Bixie were left behind, not even competing last weekend. But this team received a massive upgrade. Wafs previously played for Infurious, Macarbiter, Chip, Shabby Dagger, and my boy Sean, aka Lindes. And as I said, Excuse My Host played for Redemption Gang. As we see, Team Infurious imploded, Lindes is not playing anymore, and Shabby Dagger joined Team Regain alongside Valkyrie, Nemains, and Chaisty. Macarbiter, previously free agent, is now playing with Left Eye, Ask, and Sunro on Team Flamboyant, also a very solid roster. They end up cutting loose level 50, which is not currently playing. Now talking about teams that made only one change, we have UHL All-Stars. They made a roster change replacing Brad MQ for Hops. The rest of the team remained the same with Patotally, Nicky Boy, and EasyCac. Fruit and Fiber also made a minor change, replacing Lil Ugly Shane for T. Colpin. The rest of the team remained with Ollie J, Damos, and Terry Tibbs. Bucky Boys again replacing only one player, this time around Ibaz for Zenti. The rest of the roster is my boy Che, Legend 6, Buttons, and Coxie. Neville joined the rest of the roster of Ethereal Esports, Sniper Paul, Good Troop, and Vanadam in place of Tom GPR. And finally, the last two teams we're talking about are Team VUELTA, Rimex, and Heavy stayed, and Chins and Bilex replaced Fredu and Moazoro. And Too Talented, Cheeky Zenith, and Moss FPS are now playing with Squidge and Fennec, which replaced probably their best players, Jamesy and Richard RX, which didn't play last weekend. The duo joined from their previous team, Squishies, that consists of Pitbull and EU MJ. The rest of the teams I consider pickup teams which didn't compete in the qualifiers, so I didn't talk about them. Hopefully they will stick together for this weekend. Fun fact, the only teams that stuck together are Quadrant, Navi, J-Links, Catsmile, and BH3. To sum up, there are a lot of quality players that didn't play last weekend. This just goes to show how down bad the community is. Hopefully by making these videos for you guys, I keep the spark alive just a little bit longer. Now let's talk about matches. Today I'm going to do something a little bit different. We'll start by taking a look at Winners Bracket and highlight some of the matches, then move on to Losers, and then we'll look at the top 8 matches and finally the Grand Finals. So Let's get started. Winners round 1, Fruit and Fibre, Deimos, Mr. Tui, Ollie J and T Kalpin versus Team VUELTA, Heavy, Billex, Rimrex and Asians go to a map 3 which could have been close. I rate Fruit and Fibre higher than VUELTA, but a close series nonetheless. Reclaimers, Valkyrie, Neiman, Shabby and Shiesty, 0, Leftovers 2, Kayab, Hybrid and Master Boas. This matchup is interesting because apart from Hybrid, the rest of the team didn't play the qualifiers, but they are back and at full force. Phoenix Rising, Roxas, PG, Nez, and Pulse won 2-1 against Active Presence, Azamat, Clifford, Novapok, and Nono. Azamat is probably their best player in the team by a long shot. He's probably playing with friends or playing for fun. That's why he's not in a good team as in the past. But congrats to Phoenix Rising. The final match in Winners Round 1 is Bucky Boys, Legend 6, Coxrolla, Zentin Buttons versus Gaming on Ramen, Animal, Tempt, Pitbull, Richard RX. Bucky Boys lost 2-0. I expected more from this team, at least push to a Game 3, but according to Halo Data Hive, it was a blowout. Winners Round 2, the only match that caught my eye was Flamboyant, Senro, Ask, Arbiter, and Left Eye, who lost 2-1 to Leftovers. Once again, Leftovers proving they're back in business. According to Halo Data Hive, they lost the first map 4-1, King of Hill on Recharge, won Aquarius Slayer 50-46, and lost Game 3 185-84 on Oddball Livefire. They low-key got smoked on both OBJs. Winners Round 3, we have Jailings losing 2-0 to the new roster Dopamine, Respectful, Clonely, Lunny, and Kimbo. Really good roster, and they came out swinging against Jailings. Map 1 Jailings got smoke on Recharge Oddball, but Map 2 Livefire Slayer was pretty close, 50-47. Winners Round 4, there's no particular match that wasn't expected, so we'll be moving on to Winners Finals. Finishing on Winners Finals, we have Navi versus Quadrant, losing 3-1. Quadrant looking really dominant. Navi was only able to take the Slayer, 50-47, really close match, but Quadrant destroying Navi in the rest of the series. For instance, Stronghold's Livefire, they won 250-21. Damn! Now let's move on to Losers Bracket. In Losers Bracket Round 1, we have UHL All-Stars, Patotally, Nicky Boy, Hobbs, and Kazi. Won 2-1 against These Nuts, and Red Wheat, Rainwater, and Whittler. I reckon UHL Stars is an overall better team. I think these guys should have won 2-0, especially given their last performance. Maybe they were having a bad day. Again, Active Presence, Azamat, Clifford, Novapok, and Nono lost 2-1 against Elite, Dobby Portagas, Seth Veturev, and Frankish. I'm sorry if I mispronounce any of your gamer tags. But yeah, I'm really surprised looking at these results. In theory, Azamat should have hard carry, yet Elite was able to shut him down. Regarding Losers Round 2, we have our first match, Too Talented, Cheeky Lemon, Fennec, Moss FPS, and Squidge, against Shipper Chips, Nilk, The Madman, J.O., Mitzi, and Flubzo. During the qualifier, I faced off Too Talented, and they seemed decent with some potential. And this matchup was cool because they were able to take a map from Cheaper Chips, which I reckon should have beaten them in a clean 2-0. Once again, we have Bucky Boys, but this time versus Phoenix Rising, which won against Acts of Presence. Bucky Boys were able to push to a map 3, but couldn't close it out. I'm actually surprised by the performance of Phoenix Rising. Looking at the teams, I don't rate them higher than some of the other teams, but they have proved me wrong. Congrats to them. The last match we're going to be looking is Gaming on Ramen against Elite. And I'm going to be honest, this matchup was for top 16, and I don't think both of these teams shouldn't be in this position. But hey, they got an easy bracket, but still needed to make the runs, so in some way they deserve to be here. Gaming on Ramen was able to take care of business, winning Game 3 and placing top 16. In Losers Round 3, all the matches were expected. There is nothing to highlight in my opinion, so we move on to Losers Round 4, which adds some really cool matchups. To start, we have Flamboyant again versus WK, aka BH3, Sunrise, New Brainiac, Bastos, and Yumi. A really cool roster, and I told you guys in the last episode that I saw some potential in them breaking top 12. Well, guess what? Not only they did, but they beat Flamboyant in Game 3, making to top 8 for the first time as a team, I think. Congrats to BH3. And finally, saving the best for last, probably the biggest upset this weekend, we have Cat Smile Gaming, my boy Dan aka Marine, Outcast, Subatomic, and the veteran himself, Warlord, beating Reclaimer, Valkyrie, Neiman, Shabby Dagger, and Shiesty aka Frugal 2-1. Really proud of the boys in Cat Smile Gaming, keeping their performance of top 8. This wasn't an easy match to win. Now that we're in the top 8, this was the rest of the losers bracket. J-Links beat BH3 2-0, which was expected. Catsmile Gaming couldn't close it out in Game 3 against Leftovers. Once again, Leftovers showcasing their skill, even though they haven't played in a while. But they're probably higher rated than Catsmile Gaming, which they almost caused 2 upsets in a row. That would have been insane. Then we have Awobabobs beating J-Links, which at this point is expected. J-Links is not putting the numbers that it once did, and at this point I think they should be looking in making a change. I don't know, guys, what do you guys think? And again, Dopamine, an insane roster, took care of Leftovers with ease in a clean 2-0. Then Awobabobs lost 3-1 against Dopamine, which might have to do they're not playing with Flux. Flux is a powerhouse in that team, and I don't think Milzy is up to par with Flux's skill. So we'll see if he's coming back this weekend, and we'll see if Awobabobs at full strength. Finally, Dopamine gets demolished by Navi 3-0, which was expected. Navi and Quadrant, it seems that they're so far ahead of the rest of the European teams that is crazy. However, Quadrant is on another level. Jesus, they rolled through Navi with ease in the grand finals that it wasn't fun to watch. Could have they make it a little bit more competitive? Jesus. CDF Argyle 4-1. Street Slayers was the closest 50-44, but they just finish it off in King of the Hill 4-0. Damn. All jokes aside, Quadrant is performing really well recently. They also did in Charlotte with a sub, and I'm very excited to see them in the next major with their full roster. So yeah, guys, that's everything I got you from today in the 3rd episode of Europa Lookout. This one was a short one. I had little time to put this one together and couldn't go into more details. Don't forget to follow Europa Halo and Mr. Teen Crumpets. The Team VUELTA free-for-all has now started, and thanks to Emojo Gaming, prize pool has increased. The tournaments are every Wednesday, and the first winner was Yumi from BH3. Congrats. And don't forget to participate also in the Project Stadium. If you can't compete but want to catch all the action, Outcast has you covered. He's been streaming some of the Project Stadium as well as the free-for-all tourneys, so make sure you go follow him. And don't forget that 2 lands are coming, the first one in Italy next week, and another in France in April with €1,000 prize pool. Make sure you guys register, links in the description. Anyways guys, it's been fun, subscribe for more videos, leave a like if you end up enjoying, and remember, good luck and have fun. Talk!